Hello, we're just waiting for people to join the broadcast. Hello, we're just waiting for one or two to join. Slight time delay before it gets going.
Yeah, it's not showing yet. I'm on.
No, I haven't got it yet. Hi, Anne. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Just turned up.
Are we on?
Yeah. Welcome, everyone, to the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre Paranormal Peeps. The guests tonight are you haunted? Just
Hi.
welcome Sarah to Adrian and everybody. And throughout the night, if you have any questions, if you just put it into chat. Cheers, Amy. Thanks for sharing. Hi, Nicola. Thanks for joining us. So the first question to all of you then, to start off with Phil and Ben, who are the nearest to me. Can you tell me a bit about yourselves, please?
Ben?
No, you go.
Been interested in ghosts and the paranormal since I was about 11 years old. Started off by reading books in the junior section, then my dad got the books from the senior section, and it kind of progressed from there. And then 2002, I auditioned for a place on the Scream Team series. I beat 1,500 people to be one of the three guys, and we basically toured the UK looking at stories of occultism and ghosts and things like that on a big silver bus. There's 3 guys and 3 girls. And then from there, I became the paranormal investigator for Most Haunted for 3 seasons and about 7 live shows, I think it was. And now I am the producer, director, editor, and one of the faces on Are You Haunted? That's me, in a nutshell.
That's brilliant. What about you, Ben?
Well, I've grown up with spooky stuff because of my dad and my mum, obviously doing the ghost hunts always.
Yeah.
So I think I went on my first ghost hunt when I was like 10, 11 maybe. Went on a couple when you were still doing some public events. And now we just do Are You Haunted filming, and I'm on that obviously, and help out with some stuff.
Ben's probably the person that's had perhaps the most significant amount of activity in his lifetime. But we can talk about that. Sarah, you're next. You're there, that way. There.
Yeah, Sarah.
Okay. So I've been interested, well, to be honest, for as long as I can remember, I've always been interested in ghosts and hauntings. But it was around 2002, 2003 that I decided that I fancied having a go at doing it myself, and I put together my own paranormal team, of which Jane became a member. So me and Jane go back a long time. And then it was 2007, Phil and I met when he came along onto one of our nights, didn't he, Jane? We were investigating a haunted nightclub. So Phil came and joined us, and that kind of went down that route. But yeah, we kind of did for many years, we did public events. And although we loved it and we traveled all around the country, my real passion was doing it as a small group like I did originally with Jane. And that's where the whole idea of Are You Haunted came about, that we wanted to go back to what we used to do just as a small team.
Yeah, that sounds brilliant. I sort of want to get more into the investigation side now. You kind of miss out on events in a way, don't you? Because you can't do what you want.
Absolutely. You're very much focused on looking after your guests. And although we do some amazing places, and like I said, we travelled all around the UK doing it. And it was literally, sometimes it was like every weekend, and it might be Friday and Saturday, but it was also very tiring as well, very draining. But you didn't have that. I think the best part of the night for me was when we got to the end and it was like free time. And that's when the crew all came together and we went off and did our own little thing when the guests were just doing their thing. And that's what we enjoyed, was that little bit of extra time at the end. So that's what we're doing now with Are You Haunted?
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thanks for joining us, Denise Davis, Annalise, Terry. Thank you, everyone. If you can share, that's great. Hi, Jane. What about you then?
Well, my timeline's very similar to Sarah's, obviously without the marrying Phil part, but yeah, always been.
Thankfully.
That'd just be weird. But I always had a fascination with ghosts, but not just ghosts, anything to do with the paranormal, ufology, anything like that. Got really into it one day when I stumbled across a program, watched that, and I thought, I want to do that. So I got Googling on the internet, and that's where I found Sarah's group had just formed, and I sort of muscled my way in, bought all the kits and everything. There was no way they were going to not have me, and took it from there, really. And we had quite a few years doing the we went up and down the country. It was when it was a lot less known and a lot easier to get fantastic venues to go into.
Before Facebook and everything, wasn't it?
Yeah. We just so many miles up and down doing that. Had a fantastic time, and then obviously helped for a while with the events. And then I had a little bit of time out because, like these guys said, I wasn't enjoying the not being able to join in bit. So then I started to get back into it, and I think I went on your last ever event, and then Sarah sort of run it past me. Would you fancy doing this? And why don't we film it so everybody can see what we do and how we do it and what a real investigation's like? So that's what we did.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's brilliant. And last but not least, how did you get into it, Dale? What's your history?
Similar to Jane, I've always had an interest in the paranormal, not just ghosts. As Jane says, ufology always fascinated me. And then I had my first real experience 20 years ago now. So from there, I had a real interest in ghosts and spirits and such like. And then I met Phil. I worked with Phil back in about 2006. So about 14 years ago. And
2005.
2005 was it? Okay. 2005, 15 years ago. And it all took off from there. Phil invited me along to a few of the public events. And it just spiraled, really. And obviously here I am now, loving absolutely every minute of it.
Even though we pick on you.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like the brunt of all jokes kind of thing.
Easy to see why, though.
Why do you think you get picked on then?
I'll let Phil answer that.
He's got a girly scream, that's why.
Well, yeah, I've heard it. It's funny. It's better than mine.
Yeah. So there you go.
Oh, that's fantastic. So what's your scariest moment then, Phil? You haven't actually been scared or?
Crikey. I don't. Do you think I've got one? I don't know.
I should hope so. You've been doing it for a long.
I know I have. I don't really. I mean, I don't like the dark in general, to be honest.
Whoops.
So anything where I'm stuck in the dark on my own, I don't particularly like.
It's constantly flicking a torch on and off all the time.
Yeah.
It's pain.
Well, you know what you've got to do next show then? Stick him in a room without a torch.
Oh, he wouldn't like that. He wouldn't like. He wouldn't want to go on his own without a torch.
See if Phil can scream like Dale.
No chance. Nobody can scream like Dale. What's your scariest thing, Sarah?
Oh God, I've had scary moments that at the time you kind of think it's paranormal and it turns out to be something completely not, and then just hilariously funny.
Yeah, likewise, actually. Yeah,
I think for one example, I'll give you an example. We were doing a public event and we were at Derby Royal Infirmary. And I've talked about this before, so forgive me if you've heard it, if anybody's watching. But we were on a ward in the infirmary, and it was pitch black. And I thought I'd got the whole group behind me. So we were all stood in the corridor, and there was like rooms off the corridor, and we're calling out. And all of a sudden, when your eyes are just trying to make something out in the blackness, I'd seen this white figure. And it looked like it was floating at the end of the corridor and coming sort of nearer to us. And everybody behind me took this big inhale of gas, like and nobody could really speak. And then we realised that it was a couple of members of the group that had wandered off on their own, and she'd got like a long white coat on and black trousers, which made her look like she was floating because she couldn't see her legs. But yeah, that was interesting, but that wasn't paranormal. It was just hilarious at the time. But,
Similar thing when I was at Peterborough. It's not paranormal, but it scared the life out of me. We were doing a seance at the Peterborough Museum in one of the rooms, and it was obviously almost pitch black. And one of the women decided to wander out and go and have a look at one of the other rooms while we were doing it. And then she came back in, but she came in and she said after when we asked, she said she came in a way that she didn't want to disturb anybody. So she kind of came in on her knees. And this area where we were doing the seance, a little girl had been seen. So she's coming in, it's pitch black, and you see this black silhouette of this small figure walking through the door. I'm not kidding you, everybody in that room absolutely crapped themselves, including me. And I'm like, panicking to get the torch. I'm like, what the f is that? And that scared the life out of me. That did. And she's like, what? Oh, I didn't want to disturb you, so I came in quietly. I'm like, quietly? It was all a heart attack.
Oh, fantastic. What's your scariest moment then, Dale?
Probably down a little corridor at Thorn Workhouse. Made me scream. That was that was surreal. There was a closed door. Obviously, if you've seen the episode, great. Hopefully you have. A closed door, and there was a light turned on behind it. The light disappeared. And the next thing, about 5-10 seconds later, the door opened on its own. As Jane will tell you, we absolutely papped our pants. If we could have run the other way, we would have done, but unfortunately, it was a dead end. So that was daunting, to say the least.
Oh wow! I had a question from John Talladay. Then, what's the most interesting place so far?
We'll let Ben answer that one because he didn't answer the last.
Right.
And don't give any secrets away, Benj.
Most interesting as in spookiest?
Yeah. Where you'd like to go back?
I think Form was quite good. But Antiques was good as well. I liked Antiques when I went there.
Yeah.
A lot happened to me at Antiques.
Yeah. Can you tell us about what happened to you at Haunted Antiques then?
Started off fairly early for you, didn't it?
I think
we were still filming bits and pieces.
We just filmed the interview in the seance room, and as we were coming out, I think I was taking some tripods back to go pack them away. And as I was coming out into this room, on the shelf there was like two little donkey things. What were the
like donkey?
One was
toys,
a donkey,
stuffed toys or something. One was a donkey, and one was something else.
And as I was, I don't know why, but when I came out the room, I immediately looked over at this donkey that was facing me because I kind of just felt like I should look that way. When you kind of walk into a room, it's like something draws your attention. So I immediately walked in and looked over, and it was looking at me. I was like, okay, it's just looking this way. And I kept walking, and I heard a noise behind me. And I turned back, and it turned its head and was looking at me as I was walking away from it, which is very strange.
Then you had one drop on you, didn't you?
Yeah, later on. Later on, I was packing something else up, and it just dropped on me. I'm like, okay.
Did you scream? Did you scream like Dale?
No, I was just in shock, really.
Sorry, I'm picking on you now. Sorry about
that. Okay, I'm used to it. It's absolutely fine. Go ahead. Not a problem.
Just kind of happens. Denise Davis asked if you protect yourself before investigating.
No, we never. The only time we've ever, I say we protected ourselves, but not really. Maybe on an event, if there was somebody there and they wanted protection and they asked for it, then we would do it. But normally, no, we don't ever protect ourselves. And that's in God knows how many years now that I've been doing it. We've never had a problem.
Yeah. So sometimes do and don't, and maybe I ought to. But yeah, it's one of those, isn't it? Carl has asking if you've ever done the Towers Hospital in Leicester.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. What did you think about it?
I think one of the freakiest things is when we walked in and you could see all these asbestos washing booths in there.
Yeah, that was
Ooh.
quite cool. Yeah.
That was a bit spooky.
Danger asbestos. You don't want to see that really, do you, when you're going in a building? But
No,
I
it's a
remember
brilliant
going
building.
up. Have you been in there, Jacqueline? It's
No, I haven't. No,
there
it's
was a
gone
room
now,
at the bottom.
apparently.
It's not there
A
anymore.
big room at the bottom where we used as like the base room when we were doing the events. And I took a group up to the top floor, and we got up there, and I can't remember if I'd forgotten something or somebody in the group wanted a piece of equipment, and I actually came down. I don't know how many floors it was now, but I did it on my own. And I do these things as a little bit of a challenge, and I'll even do it and turn off the torch just to challenge myself, because it's one of those things that I always want to go to the place that's really, really going to freak me out. And an asylum, you think that's going to be the place, but then I don't know. I think I was that focused on getting down there that it didn't really bother me that much.
Oh, wow. But see, most sort of haunted place you've been to, Dale? Most scary?
There's a few, to be honest. Of all different things have happened.
Are you frozen?
Have we lost him?
I think we've lost
My
him.
sound's gone.
That's a good thing.
Can you hear
Yeah.
me, Jane?
Looks like Dale's gone.
Slightly. It's all.
Dale's
well. He'll
come back on in a minute.
Yeah, he'll turn up
Sounds better
Wednesday.
now, Dale. Gone.
Adam Sims asks how you are. He says, loving Are You Haunted? And he's got
Hi,
to
Adam.
binge watch it over his breaks at work.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Thank you.
Prince Stevens, thanks for joining us. Love to invest in an asylum. Also on his favourite list.
Come on, Dale. Where are you?
Yeah, he's not.
I'll send him a message and just tell him to come out.
Yeah, I think you probably have to. I'll remove him from the stream and then see if he'll come back.
Yeah.
Add him again.
Hey.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's not good.
Hey.
Yeah,
Oh,
come
what
back.
happened there?
So if you could travel to any location, where would you want to go to? US, overseas, anywhere? Phil,
Ooh.
your dream
Oh.
location.
East State Penitentiary in the USA. Hey, Dale. Welcome back.
Sorry about that.
Hello,
I
you
can't
can't
hear you
speak.
again.
No, I think I go for
the
something with my
sound's
internet
gone again
connection.
now.
Oh.
Your sound's gone again, Jane. Can you hear me? Jane,
Yeah,
log
isn't it?
out.
Yours is.
Log out,
I've
Jane.
got a really big delay.
Log out, Jane, and come back in. Dale, I can't hear you.
Okay.
Ah, can you hear me?
Log out,
Jane's
Dale.
done
Come back
that.
in
I
again.
told you it would be chaos with us lot on, didn't I?
Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes,
Wonderful.
I
Brilliant.
can.
Sorry.
Jack Hello. It says Kelvedon Hatch is a good one in Sussex. Have you been there?
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
to Kelvedon Match, yeah.
Any
Yeah.
good?
Yeah. It was a long time ago now.
It
Since
was
we've
a
been.
long time ago.
But yeah, again, it was a really good place. I enjoy doing that kind of location.
Brilliant. Hello.
Jane's
Welcome
coming back.
Oh, that's no.
No, we can't hear you.
I'm back, but the sound's not.
So that's Dale I can't hear and Jane that I can't hear. This deal's
I think
getting
we're all
better
back
all the
now,
time.
aren't we? We're fine. So, where would you like to go, Jane? If you could go anywhere in the world.
Probably one of the big American ones, like, is it Waverley, the sanitarium? That's one of the big ones I'd like to go to. I'd like to go somewhere where no one's been abroad as well, you know, an undiscovered one. There must be millions of them, so. But yeah, I'd like to do Waverley because it's so big.
Yeah. Are there any other things you'd like to see? Like, I particularly like the pyramids in Mexico. Is there anywhere really sort of like
Can't tell what you're saying.
you'd like to go to? Vatican City or somewhere? Anyone?
I've been,
The catacombs.
You've been?
but not to investigate, obviously.
Yeah, I'd like to go there.
I'd
Sorry.
love to go to.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Machu Picchu in Peru. It's somewhere I've always wanted to go, and obviously it's such an ancient location, civilization. I can only hope something would be there. It's somewhere I'd love to go, both just to visit and for paranormal purposes.
Yeah. Do you think you can really sort of communicate with something at that age, though? Do you think it would hold sort of the energies still?
Energy never dies, does it?
Well, that's
No,
it. It's the stone tape theory, isn't it?
that's right. Yeah.
Could you have something there that's just, as you say, set in stone kind of thing? As Jane says, energy never dies. I'd be optimistic and like to say yes, there could be something there still that you can communicate with.
Yeah. But you'd certainly get a different atmosphere there, even if there would be a sort of communication issue. Hi, Terry. Hi, Neil. Neil Packer says, hope you are all keeping well.
Hi, Neil.
Just to let you guys know that I can't hear Jane and I can't hear Dale. So whatever he's been talking about, I have no idea.
Okay. I can hear.
And I can only hear robots.
All right. Can people on the live hear Jane, Dale? Can people on the live hear everybody, please?
Try logging off, Phil.
I can't hear you, Dale.
Sorry, I'm losing everybody again. The internet is rubbish tonight for some reason.
I think it's just because everybody's using the internet right now, so there's been a lot of issues.
Yeah, we have been having trouble with different shows, really, because everyone is using the internet for live streams and everything. He's kicked himself off. Steve Higgins asks, welcome to the show. When you're sourcing a location for the show, it's gone up the screen now. It's fantastic, isn't it? Lovely.
What appeals to you more?
When you're sourcing a location for the show, what appeals to you more? Its character, the ghost stories, or its recorded history?
Ooh.
I think for me, I would have to say that it would be the full package.
Yeah.
Obviously, especially when it comes to the point where we're making a decision on where we want to go, that will come into it as well. You know, it's not about how much activity or how many ghosts are supposed to haunt there. It might be that it's just a really interesting building with a lot of history, a little bit like the music hall that we just did. That one, again, it was like friendly atmosphere. There was nothing evil or sinister about it, which, you know, you might think that doing a paranormal show that you'd edge towards that side of things, but we didn't. We wanted to just go and experience the location, and we were quite lucky that we're the only people that have been in there to do that one as well. So that for me it's a plus if it's never been done before, or if it's not had a lot of people in there, because we like to bring something new to people that are watching.
That's right. The question, Phil, was from Steve Higgins. When you're sourcing a location for the show, what appeals to you more? Its character, the ghost stories, or its recorded history?
Oh, crikey. Can everybody hear me, by the way?
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Jane, can you hear me? Jane can't hear me. Never mind. That's a good question, actually, because I like historical buildings and things like that. So, but when it comes to choosing a venue, I kind of take everything into consideration. So, and if it's an interesting location that people haven't done before, or not many people have done before, I think that kind of helps as well. But obviously, it's got to be some kind of activity. It's got to be reportedly over that. Otherwise, there's no point in putting it in the first place. So that's the way I kind of look at things.
You know, before you investigate a place, do you actually read up on the hauntings or the history? Or do you actually go in blind sometimes to find out what you get?
We do a bit of research into the venues, obviously.
Right.
But that's why we always like to interview somebody when we get there as well.
Yes.
Because we never know what we're reading is actually the genuine article, if you know what I mean. So we like to get the story straight from the horse's mouth. So that's why we do interviews and things like that. So
I think the other thing to mention as well with Are You Haunted and the different locations is the fact that we are trying to bring something that's a bit more diverse as well. So we don't want to be bringing the same type of location because, I mean, there's how many haunted pubs that are out there, that we could just do pub after pub after pub. And, you know, we want to bring somewhere different. That's why it was quite nice when we did do the haunted antiques, because it wasn't just so much the building itself, but it was more the objects and the artifacts inside. That at that point when we did go, there was a lot about that in the media at the time as well. So it kind of fit in quite nicely. And it's bringing something different for our viewers to see.
Yeah, until I went there, I didn't really know about items keeping the energy. I didn't quite know, but once you get there, you sort of encounter various objects of different energies, and every time I go there, it changes. So it's just an amazing place. Joe Hudden asks, are there any of your homes active? And she says, lovely to see you all.
Hello.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, Joe.
Hi.
We're not sure about this where we live at the minute, but Sarah thinks she's seen a little dog a couple of times, and we have noticed a couple of the bowls that we put down for our dog move across the floor.
Wow, brilliant.
But the house we lived at a while ago, that was a former 16th century former hall, and we rented that out for 12 months. And one of the main reasons for renting it out was it was supposed to be haunted, and we had some really strange experiences there, to be honest.
It was Ben really that had the experience there, the main one.
Oh, you and Ben. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you actually investigate it properly or record any of it?
No, we just lived there.
Yeah.
We just lived there, and
it's different when you live in the house. Isn't it?
We just lived there and took it, everything that came by as a normal day. So.
Oh, that's brilliant. Nice to meet you, Sandra Hatton. Thanks for joining us. Terry Coops. Adrian Taylor, have you ever been to Drakelow Tunnels?
Yeah, myself and Phil have been. Dale, did you go? I can't remember if you did.
No, I never got a chance to go to Drakelow, unfortunately. Yeah. One place I would have gone, but never got a chance.
A couple of times, and that's one of the places that, again, if you've ever been to Drakelow, there's this massive long tunnel, and it was a bit of a. I was there with, I think it was Donna that was team leading with me, one of our friends, and we were on the free time and we were having a little bit of a sort of mooch around, and we kind of dare ourselves to turn off the torch and just walk into complete blackness and see how far we can get without turning the torch back on. So, yeah.
It can really get dark as well. It just seems to get different levels, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You can't see anything and then you get just encaved in darkness. It's crazy. Pete Boland, thanks for joining us. Where would be everyone's ultimate venue to investigate? We did have that quickly, so is there anything to add on that one?
I don't think Jane or Dale mentioned anything.
Ah, right.
I think Jane did, but Dale didn't.
That's what everybody's saying. That's what anyone's saying.
Log out, Jane, and come back in.
With regards to myself,
I did before it made a
difference. I've not really got any like kind of a bucket list for paranormal.
You haven't got one?
Not a bucket list. No. As has been said briefly, so long as the place has got a history of the paranormal and character, I'm happy to go to. I've not got something on my list of a top 10 kind of thing. I'm just happy to go somewhere that's haunted that I can investigate, to be honest.
But how do you know it's haunted? Only just by what other people have said, or do you get drawn to it?
Yeah. Again, with what we do with Are You Haunted, we ask people to tell us or to tell us what they think it's haunted. So we'll go along and investigate. So we'll get given a location. Someone will contact us and saying, I live here or I work here and I think it's haunted. We'll then do the research. We'll look at the area it's in, what was there previously as well, and then go from there. So you could say, let's say 30 East Drive is a really bad example, but it's on top of an old well kind of thing with a black monk and so on and so on. It's got a history to it. It's not just the house, it's what it's stood on. You can gather that history from a location and go, yeah, that sounds interesting. Let's go there. And that's all I've got really in my that my list of criteria. So long as it's got a history, so long as it's haunted, I'm happy to go there.
Right, that's cool. Terry Coops asked, what shows do these nice people do? So there you go. So these do Are You Haunted? So do you want to mention a bit about what you intend to do with the show? Obviously, you're going to haunted locations, but what do you want to show people?
Sarah?
I think
Go on, Sarah.
again, what we mentioned before, going back to just being a group of friends that go out and do paranormal investigations, which, you know, we've got lots of friends and people on Facebook that do exactly the same thing. And we wanted to show people that, yeah, we've got other TV shows that are out there. But we know as paranormal investigators that it doesn't always happen the way that we see it on a TV show. And my challenge was, and somebody had actually said this to me once, is you could never make a TV show entertaining without actually faking evidence. And I thought, no, actually, I take up that challenge, because I know that if you get the right people involved and the right concept, then you can still have an entertaining show that people want to see without it being fake. And I'm hoping that we've proved that, you know, and I just see that we're quite young at the minute. We've only a couple of years down the line, and we're quite fresh and new, and we're just starting. It's going to get bigger.
Yeah, that's what I like about shows, the fact that it is real. And also that you do a little bit, you speak to the people who know the building and you find out a bit about it, and then everything you do is real. And you do vigils on your own as well, individually. So that's different, like the Haunted Antiques. Was it Dale went into the seance room and did a scream, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
And then on the stairs. Like the stairs,
Ben on the stairs.
always like an intriguing place, but the stairs are now open. So you actually walk down those stairs to get to the downstairs bit now.
So you can open the door at the bottom, which you couldn't do.
You can get in the bottom now. It's brilliant.
I'd love to go back there. I really would.
Yeah.
Can you hear everybody, Jane?
Neil says you're welcome back, if only for a meetup. So
yeah, that'd be cool.
Excited.
Okay. Jane can't hear us, so.
Oh no.
Who
Jane.
can you hear, Jane? Can you hear Sarah?
It's just that I can hear like a robotic.
Can't even hear you, Jane.
Oh no.
I can hear everybody.
I can hear Jane, but oh no.
I've got a really.
Don't worry. You carry on, and we'll come back in.
If you ask Jane a question, I can hear Jane perfectly. So I'm sure that I'm hoping that people that are watching can hear her okay.
Yeah, I can hear Jane, and I think it's fine
I
going
can hear
live.
you, and I can hear you, Sarah. I don't know if it, for some reason, when 5 people are on, it just turns mine to crackle.
I can hear you, Jane.
I can hear you clearly now.
Oh, how weird.
Let's have another go then. They're back again.
Yay!
Hopefully it will work now.
Hello.
Carrie Kennedy's watching. She wants to know if you've ever taken a spirit home after an investigation.
No.
No?
No. There was only one occasion, and this is going back years and years, and I did Plesley Vale Mill, and I was driving away. And I was driving, and one of my friends, Kev, who's a medium that used to work with my team and Jane's team, as I was driving, he just said to me, I actually looked up in the mirror and sort of like jumped a little bit, and he said to me, "You've just seen the man sat in the back of the car." And I could see what looked like a figure in the back of the car, but it was only just a sort of a fleeting. He says, "Oh, he's been with us a while, but I didn't want to say anything." So nobody's ever actually come right the way home with it. Probably couldn't put up with me, to be honest. So.
How's that better, Phil? Can you hear us?
Well, Jane can't. I can hear everybody, but I can hear Jane.
Can't hear it all now. There's no sound. I can hear you guys now.
You can hear Sarah and Dale.
Can you hear me? No? No.
Do you want me to text her the questions?
Oh, bless
I have
you.
to log out and log in again. Sorry about this, guys, listening.
It seems to be more of a technical issue at the moment because everybody is on the internet and they're all streaming everything under the sun.
Yeah.
So it is causing a few problems.
Jane's got bad Wi-Fi.
Yeah, Jane's got bad Wi-Fi as well, so that's not helping.
Are you currently finding, this is a question from Karen Blythe, are you noticing that a lot of people are posting about increased activity in their houses due to the current situation?
Yeah, and I don't know why that should be.
Because they're home and seeing it.
Yeah,
Karen
unless it's because they're staying at home a lot.
is it because the past are offering reassurance, or if it's just subconscious because they are at home more?
I think it's probably due to the fact that they're at home more often, but I don't think ordinarily it should make an increase in activity. I would have thought.
Hi, Jane.
What might be interesting is when everybody's allowed to go back into these venues, what the activity will be like after they've had that sort of period of time where nobody's been in there. Makes you think, you know, the first couple of times that people go in to investigate, is it going to be more active?
Yeah, I certainly can't wait to do that. And I've got to go to a special place the first one I do. I know where I want to go. What do you think though? What do you think that the spirits or whatever you call them are thinking? You know, because some of them, like there's events every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and all of a sudden they're left
probably
on their
enjoying
own.
the break, aren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wonder if they're getting bored of the situation.
That's one thing that I always used to think, you know, with when we did events and people used to always ask the same questions day in, day out. And I just think, you know what, at the end of the day, these are people that we're talking to, and they're going to get bored of people asking the same question over and over again. So, yeah, I reckon they're probably just enjoying a bit of time out.
Yeah, that's right. Because, like, you know, every what, twice a week, maybe more. Oh, can you push this table for us?
Yeah.
Oh, can you make this light? Oh, no, this is a K2. This does this. And like all these like events things are kind of mentioned to the nth degree what these items do, and they're used to it twice a week at least, haven't they? So it's now I've done an investigation and we've made contact. It seems like they see us as shadows. Have you ever had any idea of how a spirit perceives us?
Go on, Phil, you can answer that. That's a tricky one.
Do ask the question again?
I've been on an investigation and it kind of came through that these spirits actually saw us as a shadow. So they could vaguely see us. But how do you think that they perceive us?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because I'm not sure if, well, first and foremost, I'm not even sure if spirits or ghosts exist, to be honest.
Okay.
But I'd like to think that they do, and I'd like to think that we could. I think for a start, we need a live consciousness to connect with whatever's out there, whether it's spirits, ghosts, or whatever else is there, to see them properly. And I'd like to think that they can connect and see us as equally well as we could see them, because you do get people reporting that they've seen a spirit or a ghost or whatever you want to call them, and it looks just like a normal person. And then you get people that say, no, I've seen a shadow. So I think it probably depends on how strong that connection is to how we perceive them and perhaps how they perceive us. So if there's not a strong connection conscious wise, they probably see us as a shadow. Likewise, we see them as a shadow. But if we're on the same kind of wavelength and the connection is a stronger one, then I think that's when people perhaps see them as normal people.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do you think, Sarah?
It's a very, very difficult question to answer, isn't it? I think what I would like to think is that they could see us as we are, you know. And it always, that sort of question puts me in mind of The Others, the movie The Others. Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Where I'm not going to give away the twist if you haven't seen it, but watch it if you haven't, because it's a really good twist at the end. But that's sort of, I always used to sort of think that, I would like to think, that they would see us just as we are.
Yeah.
And not as a shadow, that they would see us as a person that was there trying to talk to them.
Can you hear us, Jane?
I can at the moment, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Right. Of all of you, who's the most clumsiest?
Clumsy.
Jane.
Yeah, Jane.
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 You can't see anything.
Me.
You can't see anything, yeah.
Have you fallen over or anything?
Sorry?
Have you ever fallen over or tripped over or?
I nearly fell over upstairs in the music hall, but that's because we were in the dark. And...
Nearly fell down the attic hole, didn't you?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
It was scary up there, though. But no, I don't think I have apart from that. No.
I would have said Tim, to be honest, but he's not here. He's not part of the group anymore. But I think coming close to chopping his fingers and thumbs off with trying to catch his drone comes close.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So yeah, but Jane, it's got to be Jane.
Hi, Wayne Bridger. Hi, Pamela Percival. Hi, Phil Newton. Hi, Ian Griffiths.
Hello, everyone.
Ian
Hi,
Griffiths
everybody.
says, do you think your own sensors are better than any equipment?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's why we don't really we don't use equipment, and that's another angle of the show, is that we don't have all the flashing and beeping, and we like to use our own sensors.
Yeah, and you're definitely back to basics, and I do like the episodes I've seen because they are genuine and they are real, and you can hear the sound in the background. Yeah. And I just wonder sometimes, like, if the equipment is there, then you might miss out on getting the sound.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And that's one of the things that we've always said. If you've got something that's noisy that's going off like a spirit box, what if you've got somebody that's literally behind you that's making a noise or trying to speak to you? You're not going to hear anything for all the noise on the spirit box, and you could miss so much. So you might get something that comes through on the spirit box, but ultimately we don't know if these spirit boxes actually work. So I would rather listen to the voice behind me than the noise that's making.
Yeah, it's trying to decipher it as well, because if you've got one spirit box and the person hears a sound, there's 4 other people in the room coming out with different words or different phrases. And you'll never really know the answer on that one. Neil Packer wants to mention that Sarah and Phil are taking part in the online Paracon on Saturday.
Yeah.
That show's on after this, where Neil and Jane are going to be discussing that with a guest. So come back onto this channel from 8 o'clock.
It's Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
But that's what I thought. I thought Neil knows what it's talking about.
The wrong day, Neil.
Sunday, Neil. Bless you. Phil Newton says he likes back to basics, like he said many years ago in Derby Jail. I first met Sarah and Phil at Derby Jail at the Christmas party, which Phil organised at that time, when everyone was doing karaoke horrendously.
Yeah.
And well, people were doing karaoke. We were trying to do a vigil in the debtor cell, which we got a bit happening, so that was all good. Jack Davis, thanks for joining us. What's your most convincing moment experiencing paranormal? Oh, hey. Yeah, talk about.
I think
that one? Sorry, Jack.
I think the question is, what's your most convincing paranormal
moment
incident? Or moment. Sarah, you can have that one.
No, I'm talking too much. Somebody else talk. Dale.
Jane.
I can't hear again.
Jane.
I can't hear you.
Oh, Jane.
Sure, internet, it's crap.
Most
Put some money in the
convincing.
meter.
There's one that I can't explain, which is at the Haunted Antiques, where was the not Dale scream. I can't explain that. So from that, I call that convincing. I can't explain how on Ben's camera, and he heard me scream. And I've listened to that scream and I'd say it's myself, it's me screaming, but I didn't scream. So from that, I can't explain it. Also, from that point, it is convincing to me that something is there. It's just incomprehensible as to how that happened.
It was weird that as well, because it actually sounded like it came from inside rather than outside.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. From Ben's point of view, what he heard and what the camera picked up,
He thought it was you.
He thought it was me. I listened to the audio, the visual, the video. I thought it was me from inside, but it wasn't me, and that was proven by timestamps on our own cameras. On my camera, while I was talking at the time, that Ben heard me scream. I was talking to my camera at that exact moment.
You can't hear it on your camera. And the weirdest thing, and Jacqueline, you'll know, and a lot of people that are watching right now, obviously in association with the Haunted Antiques, is that you were in the seance room and Ben was at the top of the stairs, and it's not exactly a million miles away, is it?
No, not at all.
So, but you can't hear it on your camera at all.
No, exactly. And on Ben's camera, it's a loud scream. It's not distant. It's quite clearly really audible. You can really hear it without question. So when you can't hear it all on my camera, and as I say, I had to say it was me screaming, and it's obviously not. That's just so surreal. That's the most convincing thing that's happened to me.
That's brilliant. Can you hear us, Jane? No. Sorry. What's the most convincing time for you then?
Who?
Are you asking?
Ben.
Ben.
When we used to live in this old hall, one night, we'd all gone to bed, and what was the bed type? It's like a bunk bed, but only
cabin bed, kind of captain's bed. So it's quite steps, ladder up to the top, kind of a bunk thing.
Yeah, I was like, what, 10, 11 times
10.
something.
Yeah.
So I've just got into bed, and I'm kind of just like starting to nod off, and the height of it is basically like you could stand next to me, and you'll be like level with me. And as I'm just closing my eyes, I hear sort of like really deep breathing just in front of me as I'm facing out into my room. So with my amazing ghost instincts, I held my breath to make sure it wasn't me, and it kept breathing and like was really deep for like a good 20 or so seconds. And I'm kind of just sitting there thinking, is that me? And then like it wasn't. So I was just like panicking. I was like, okay. So I shouted through to you like, you're a ghost. I obviously open my eyes, look around, there's nothing there. It's just this deep breathing right in my face.
Mm.
Do any of you pick anything up spiritually?
I think maybe Ben does more than anything.
Yeah.
Not deliberately or intentionally. I think sometimes Ben, he has like a bit of a feeling, and he's said stuff before, like he feels that something's going to happen, and then it will do. So who knows if he's like a little bit more open to it? I don't know.
I kind of get like the feeling sometimes, like you kind of get the feeling that you shouldn't be there, or like something is going to happen, like you said. And you kind of get like this pressure on you, like something is going to happen, and then a lot of the time you can feel like the atmosphere build up, and a lot of time when that happens, something will happen.
Right.
So who can Jane hear then? Can you hear me, Jane?
Can you hear me, Jane?
I think she's nodding off.
It's just robotic. I can't tell what you're actually saying.
Oh, right.
Oh, okay.
I'm just looking at the comments. I can see the comments on the screen, and we've got Wayne, who's one of our friends, and when we lived in the old hall, he came and stayed there with us, and he's just said, what about the dog in the old hall and the latch? We had the doors in the old hall were the kind you'd flick the latch down and it'd open up.
Oh, wow.
A bit like you'd have on a gate or whatever. But
yeah.
There was one in particular that the latch used to flick, didn't it, Phil? You used to hear it. We used to be sat in the other room and we could hear the latch going up and down like this. It's really strange.
Yeah, but what he's on about is when they stopped in that bedroom.
Ah, yeah.
They stopped in that bedroom, and near the
we put them in the haunted room.
Yeah, near the ensuite bathroom, there was a door with a thumb latch that opened out, but it was like a little balcony that you could look down into the hall bit. It was about 15 feet up. and they were in there stopping over one night, and Wayne heard the thumb latch going on this door, and he thought it was me playing a prank. So he went and opened the door, and there was nobody there, obviously, because it's about 15 feet up. And then during the night, he had this. He said it was like a dog walking up and down the side of his bed while they were trying to sleep. And then I'm not sure if it was either Wayne or Donna, when they were halfway through the night, they looked over and one of them saw a silhouette walk past the window. So that was really weird. And I used to get really strange vibes in that room. My hair and the back of my neck would used to go up literally every time I went in.
That's why we didn't sleep in there. If anybody ever came to stay, we'd stick them in the haunted room and we'd be in it.
At least you find out if it's haunted then. Everyone sort of mentions it.
Yeah.
More evidence for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi, Yvette Fielding. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Carl Guntrip. Carl's got a question. How does a spirit have clothes on? Some spirits have died in a hospital, but have their work clothes on in spirit. Nice question.
Why are the easy questions, guys?
I think it's a mental thing where we kind of fill it in ourselves instead of, because we don't expect to see somebody stood there with nothing on. So I think we kind of fill in this to try and make sense of stuff. Our kind of imaginations kind of fill it in, I think.
Walking around with a white sheet on.
Yeah.
Your typical image is like a white sheet with little eyes, isn't it?
That's the ultimate ghost sighting, isn't it? Wouldn't you just love to see that?
Oh, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah.
What, a naked ghost?
No. No.
Not good. No. So what do you guys think about orbs?
Pass.
Not much.
Orbs. I don't know about orbs. I will tell you a story though.
Yeah.
I don't believe in orbs at all, as far as the ones that are caught on camera and the wispy things that float by and all that kind of stuff. But when I was in the station hotel filming an episode, there was Derek and myself down in the cellar, and we were looking forward and just having a chat, doing a bit of a vigil, and I saw a blue ball of light. It must have been about the size of a golf, just a bit bigger than a golf ball, but it was in the far corner of the room in the cellar, and it kind of went from left to right and shot up into a corner and vanished, and it was bright blue. And I kind of I thought, what the hell was that? And I turned to Derek to say, did you see that? And Derek turned at the same time to me and said, did you see that? And it was like we'd both seen this thing go from right to left and vanish into the corner. And that's probably one of two times I've seen something physical with my eyes, and it's nothing like what they see on camera with the little wispy bits floating around.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, like, if you do see things with your eyes, it is amazing, isn't it? But I don't know if you can then capture that on a camera.
Yeah, that's the ultimate, isn't it?
Yeah, to actually see and then capture it on a camera and know that it's just not, standard light anomaly.
I would say 99.9% of what you see on, especially like infrared camera, it's going to be explainable. You're going to have a rational explanation for it. And I'm not ruling them out altogether, because there has been an occasion where I've seen something with my bare eyes, but not, I don't think, like what you see generally on a camera.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Wes Coleman, Shazza, thank you. Question from Natalie Jane Butler. Nice to see Phil and Dale. It's been a long time. Just wondering if anyone can give me advice on experience a certain scent when you feel someone is passed nearby. Personal question. So if you feel if you experience a scent, or do you ever experience a scent around you? What would you think?
Nah, if you don't mind, I'll come in on that one. If you don't mind.
Yeah.
Good evening. Lovely to speak to you. Thanks for joining us. I've experienced it myself personally. A few years ago, a close friend of mine passed away unexpectedly, and I went round to the house where his wife lived, and I used to go there regularly, and never experienced anything previous. And probably 2 weeks after he passed away, I went into his favourite room where he used to relax, and I got a distinct smell of, I can't really, kind of floral, but kind of like berries, kind of red wine. He used to drink a lot of red wine, and it was kind of a berry kind of floral smell that I got that I've never smelled before in his house. And I did get that not long after he passed away. So from my point of view, I think I think it's possible. I say it's something I've experienced. I don't know what about anybody else. I think I know who you're talking about, Nat, and I hope it is for your sake.
Oh, bless you. Just a last question then, from Shazadorn Phillips. We've only got a few minutes left. Do you believe in portals, and can someone have one in their home? Can you hear us, Jane?
Portals.
Do you believe in portals?
Who's answering that one?
I'm seeing if Jane can hear it. Let Jane do a little bit, but I don't know if she can hear us.
Can you hear us, Jane?
I'm getting something to do with portals.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you believe in portals?
Not particularly. However, historically, mirrors are seen to be vessels to let things in and out of, between our world and another one. So if there were such thing as portals, I would imagine there would be mirrors.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they cover the mirrors, don't they, when there's somebody's passed away?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know about
Mm.
portals in the sense that people might think of them. I definitely think that if there are such things as spirits and ghosts, they have their unique kind of location where they perhaps come through to venues. I don't know why. I don't know if there's some kind of weakness in the kind of ether between our world and the next, if you like, which is a weaker point, and they can come across through that way easier. I don't know, but I mean, I definitely think there's a place where they can come through, but whether it's kind of a portal as we probably think it's a portal, like some kind of shining light or something that they come in and out of, I don't believe it's that kind of thing, but I do believe there is an area where they can probably step through, which is a weaker area, and they can break through easier that way. That's it. Yeah. Obviously, spirits and ghosts exist.
Yeah, I love it. Right, I want to thank you all for joining us anyway. We've got a couple of minutes left. You're taking part in the Paracon on Sunday.
Yep.
Which is going to be amazing. Wes Coleman covers his mirrors. He doesn't want to see his reflection. But he's photos of himself on Facebook at the moment, but there you go.
Where's my paranormal twinny? We were born apparently on the same day. See, we share birthdays.
Oh, fantastic! That's cool. Yeah, so cheers for joining us, and good luck with Are You Haunted?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hopefully, we'll hear a lot more about it on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having us.
Online Paracon.
Brilliant. Thanks, Jacqueline.
Thanks a lot. If you just catch after the show, if you get onto the next feed on the same channel, Neil and Jane will be discussing the Paracon. Thanks for listening, everyone, and good night.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.